Welcome to Goshen Prepping. We have great news for you. Guess what? Mankind is saved. Woohoo! Not really. The World Economic Forum is meeting again in Davos in a few days. And that's so exciting. Of course it is. Of course, I'm being facetious about the whole thing. There are, of course, many conspiracy theories surrounding this group. And if we actually want to attach the word elites to anybody, it's going to be members of the WEF. But why? Why are they so bad? And one may simply attribute their actions to trying to better the world. Are they? Are they truly nefarious? Well, we're going to do a little digging to find out, and stay to the end because I guarantee you will be shocked at what we found. And first off, you have to understand that when you talk about World Economic Forum, we can't say that word without the words or the name Klaus Schwab. And understand Klaus Schwab, who started the WEF, we can actually let him speak for himself by looking at a few quotes of things he said. This new era of global reset will lead to a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological identity. I'm going to be making more videos about this in the future. Hence, law enforcement authorities may then decide to implement pre-crime programs to intrude into the hitherto private space of our minds, reading our thoughts and influencing our behavior. As capabilities in this area improve, the temptation for law enforcement agencies and courts to use techniques to determine the likelihood of criminal activity, assess guilt, or even possibly retrieve memories directed from the people's brains will increase. Man, this is straight from the book 1984. George Orwell, amazing. Schwab wants to start nothing less but what Orwell called the thought police. Get into people's thoughts, and we can change the behavior of society instead of letting them do the actions. Have you read 1984 or his book Animal Farm? George Orwell is awesome, and he wrote these books, by the way, in the late 40s at the exact same time, the Cold War was starting between the U.S. and Russia. And understand these books are allegories warning us about socialism and communism. And it's amazing how so many of the younger people today are falling for the lies of socialism and communism because they don't see what they truly are. They think they are some kind of utopia. In fact, that's actually a socialist communist word. It's utopia. But these allegories George Orwell wrote are all warning these people about these political systems and how it's so easy to get sucked into them. And understand that the socialist countries, the different countries in socialism and communism, they don't always get along. Like China doesn't always get along with Russia, for example. But here's something you may not know. Hitler and the Nazi Party, what does Nazi stand for? National Socialist Germans Working Party is a socialist party, and it was actually firmly established to sway the German people away from communism. Did you know that? They didn't want communist influx, so they started their own socialism platform, and that way they controlled everything through their own socialism. They just wanted to make sure they controlled everything themselves, but not from the outside. And what did Hitler call it? Utopia. Utopia. It was his 1,000-year Reich, the Third Reich. And the WEF is just another group that's trying to do the same thing. And they may not be actually attached to the Nazis. I'm not going to go there, okay? But they truly have their own view of utopia now and things they want to change in the world. And we're getting caught up in it. Things you may have actually heard about. For example, you should never leave a carbon footprint. Don't use fossil fuels. Those are bad. Climate change, embrace it. The end of private property. And even the embracement of the metaverse. Now, I also did a video about 15-minute cities. That's another one of the things they're pushing as well. I'll put that video at the end of this video. They're all utopian societies, all controlled by themselves. And that's what Klaus Schwab is totally striving for. Where did he get these ideas from? Did he come up with it himself? Now, Klaus's father, which again, if you actually want to look at some history, read up on this guy, said, Klaus, if you want to succeed, you need to go to Harvard. That's where you should be. So he enrolled. But he didn't actually enroll in classes per se like most people did. He enrolled in one specific class called International Seminar with his teacher and mentor and now best friend, Henry Kissinger. Kissinger molded Schwab into the man he is today, all ideals and everything. And what kind of man is that? Well, let's go ahead and look at some of the quotes of Kissinger and let him speak for himself. It's not a matter of what is true that counts, but a matter of what is perceived to be true. We are living in the age of misinformation. Who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control whole continents. Who controls money can control the world. Straight out of today's headlines. Depopulation should be the highest priority of foreign policy toward the third world. Because the U.S. economy will require large and increasing amounts of minerals from abroad, especially from less developed countries. The elderly are useless eaters. That's straight from the Nazis right there. World population needs to be decreased by 50%. The one thing man fears is the unknown. When presented with a scenario, individual rights will be willingly relinquished for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by the world government, a new world order. This truly lets you see how rights were taken away as of 2020 and how fear was and still is being used as a major factor for this. The illegal we do immediately, however, the unconstitutional takes a little longer. Now, through this mentorship, Klaus is introduced, through Kissinger, to a wide array of strong political allies, all of which helped him develop the WEF. And the WEF wants to establish a technocracy. A technocracy is simply the government or control of society or industry by an elite of technical experts. And when we talk about experts, the connection between corporations and government is obvious. Again, everything from 2020, how corporations are helping out the government do things. We've seen a massive increase in this connection between government, not through laws because the government can't enforce certain unconstitutional laws, but through strong arming via corporations. Of course, many of these technical experts are people who are part of the government officials we're all too familiar with, and they include, of course, Henry Kissinger, Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, of course, John Kerry, he's a big part of it. And the list goes on and on. Even Governor Whitmer of Michigan is actually going to Davos for the first time and is clearly a rise in her political future. Unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more of this woman. And we've seen all these people connected together. Maybe we actually haven't connected the dots, what connects them together, but we've seen it's happening, and the connection is the World Economic Forum. And the ultimate goal of the World Economic Forum is utopia, world socialism. All these people are part of this. They want everything equal among mankind. They want every person on the planet equal. Of course, they should be. However, they want same wages, same food, same amount of food. Of course, they're talking about the food they want to produce. We've seen a lot of this happening, not the food that we want to eat. Same energy consumption, same lifestyle, and all working to better the system. Oh yeah, except there is one thing. When they say everyone, they want all part of this, that's not what they mean. They don't mean themselves. The World Economic Forum has a natural tendency to place themselves higher in mankind. They believe they are the Great Reset architects, and it's their responsibility to control every aspect of human life on the planet, including you and me. And if you don't agree and follow, well, now you are part of the new world terrorist. What we in America call terrorists are really groups of people that reject the international system. Henry Kissinger.